Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I will be painting over this ink sketch which I did in a previous video. It's a little village in Penang with these old wooden houses and narrow roads. This house looked like something that would be quite an attractive painting, so I snapped a picture of it during my walk. If you're interested in watching the inking process, you can check out my previous video because in this video I will only be painting over the ink. So the sky in the picture looks cloudy with sort of like a chance of rain, but I think I'm going to make it a sunny day instead. So I'm going to paint a blue sky with less clouds. However, I don't want the color to be too distracting, so it'll be just a very light wash of cerulean blue. So now you can see that I have wet the paper with clean water only in the sky area, and so we'll be doing a wet on wet technique. You may have noticed that there are some spots which I left dry, so that creates an opportunity for you to make some hard edges for your clouds. So a balance of hard and soft edges provides more interest and dynamic to the painting. Besides that, you can also think about painting the top of the sky a more saturated blue. And as it goes down towards the ground or towards the horizon line, the blue becomes much lighter. So you can create sort of a gradient, and that makes your sky have more depth. Here, I'm only using cerulean blue and just varying the amount of paint on the brush. One of the best things about watercolor is making gradients made of different colors and mixing these paints on the paper. So you can push the pigments around, add more pigments, lift the paint to create highlights. I mean, there's so much you can do with these paints on the paper as long as it hasn't dried. So I personally could spend hours just playing around with these paints. So one thing I like to do is have 2 or 3 different brushes, each with a different color on it, so I can paint one color and then add another color with another brush and so on. So that is more convenient for me rather than using just one brush to paint and then cleaning it out and then mixing another color, and that also causes a lot of worry about inconsistent mixes. So I prefer to mix out like 2 or 3 colors ready so that I can paint a little bit faster and with more consistent colors. So right now I'm just painting the base layer for all the houses, and it doesn't have to be perfect because I will be layering on with different colors and shadows. So I know I sound like a broken record if you have been watching my other videos. I do say that a lot, that your painting doesn't have to be perfect, your drawing can never be perfect. So but I just want to say that that is really important. Nothing is perfect, so we can only try our best and make it look as good as possible. And especially if you're painting the first layer and you're thinking like, all right, that doesn't really look that good, that's totally okay, because it's just the first step. And if your first step is looking good, then that's great. But if it doesn't, that's not a big problem as well. Painting from reference trains your eye to see these color variations everywhere. Like this wooden house is not just brown. To me, I see red, I see blue, I see some places where there are lighter spots. So like a long time ago, I would see that this wall is brown and I would just paint it one layer of reddish brown, and that's because I didn't see with my eyes. I was making my own assumption that, okay, this wall is just one color, when actually it's a multitude of colors. It's a multitude of tones and values. So if you painted only one color in one value, it's definitely gonna look more boring. So just try to train your eye to see what's right in front of you and try to follow that. And I think just by doing that, you can get a more interesting and more natural piece. On the other hand, personally, I don't find that I need to follow the picture exactly. And I actually like when a painting holds its own and has some style to it. So taking some liberties and experimenting with your sketches will develop your style, which is something that I think most artists aspire towards. Like having art that identifies as you. Like nobody else has art like you. And when somebody else sees your art, they will think about you. And I think that's what everyone aspires towards. At least that's what I do aspire towards. And it's like how we can identify Picasso's paintings or Monet's paintings. They have this quality about it, like it's intangible. You see it and you identify who the artist is, and I think that's super cool. That's seriously very magical, in fact, and I hope to one day achieve that, and well, I guess I hope you do too. So in other videos, I did these loose base layers with watercolor first before adding the ink outlines. And in this one, I reversed that process and started with ink instead. So doing this does make me paint with more control, and I tend to paint inside the lines more often than not, and the result is somewhat more neat. So I always like having the leaves of the bushes go out of the lines a little, so it looks a little more lively. And I guess that's why my building sketches always have plants in them. Like a healthy mix of nature and architecture feels harmonious rather than just man-made buildings or even grandiose architecture. Yeah, I prefer to have a mix of both. So I think that this Noodler's ink does get washed out a bit compared to other fine liner inks such as micron pens, so I usually add in some outlines after I've basically painted everything in. The great thing about watercolors is that you can always layer on another layer of paint if you think that the previous layers weren't dark enough or saturated enough. So I love that about watercolor because of this flexibility. But you also have to think that you can't paint too dark from the get-go. So yeah, it's a bit of a balance between trying to get it the perfect tone and color at the first layer, or adding subsequent layers which will build up that tone and color that you want. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed this video, and I really enjoy talking to you guys and painting and reading all your comments. So if you have any questions or any suggestions for future videos, do comment below. Remember to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.